Well, this was only a matter of time, 12s. This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we got the news that I think a lot of people were really nervous about being officially official, but we all knew was eventually inevitable. The Seattle Seahawks are officially up for sale. This was posted by the Seahawks on social media. The estate of Paul G. Allen today announced it has commenced a formal sale process for the Seattle Seahawks NFL franchise, consistent with Allen's directive to eventually sell his sports holdings and direct all estate proceeds to philanthropy. The estate has selected investment bank Allen and Company and law firm Latham and Watkins to lead the sale process, which is estimated to continue through the 2026 offseason. NFL owners must then ratify a final purchase agreement. The Seattle Seahawks are officially up for sale, and I do believe that we were all kind of aware that this was only a matter of time. Obviously, when Paul Allen sadly passed away, he did make it known that he wanted both the Seattle Seahawks and the Portland Trail Blazers, the two franchises that he owned, to eventually be sold. There was just no official timetable on it. The Blazers, their sale process began a little bit last year. They're going through the process right now, trying to finalize that sale deal. It makes sense that the Seahawks would be up next. Make sure that you follow me on social media because it took us a little bit. We waited to dive into the nitty-gritty of what the news was around the sale process today. But that is why you follow me over on X, because as soon as the news broke, I had a tweet that got fired out, and I had a video where I went into a little bit more depth on it. At Will Ortner. Super easy to find me. That's my real account. You can go and follow me over there. The sale has been in works for quite a while now. I do think that is important to note. And we had already started to hear rumors before the Super Bowl even started that the Seahawks could potentially be put up to be sold. And it makes sense, right? Jody Allen, Burt Cold, they're smart business people. They understand that they have to sell the team. Well, why don't you wait until the team is coming off of a Super Bowl appearance, or in the best case scenario, a Super Bowl victory, where you can get the most bang for your buck? Seth Wickersham had this tweet that kind of put everyone on to the scent that, hey, the Seahawks, they're probably going to end up being sold. He and Brady Henderson did a great job, and he thought that the Seahawks could be sold for somewhere between $7 to $8 billion, which is, I think, actually on the low end. Now, at the time, Ian Rappaport did put out this tweet where basically, the Paul G. Allen estate said, hey, we're not commenting on any rumors. The Seahawks are not up for sale. Yada, 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 yada. We all knew what the deal was. We all knew that the Seahawks were going to be put up for sale. It made the most business sense for the Seahawks to be put up for sale right now after that Super Bowl appearance. It made the most sense for the Seahawks to eventually be put up and sold by Jody and Burt Cold. And if Seth Wickersham and Brady Henderson, two really respected journalists over with ESPN, are putting out that they believe that this sale is coming soon, well, it was going to come soon. The question has always been around the Seahawks sale, how much will they eventually be sold for? Because it does feel like every time that there's a new sale, whether it's MLB, NBA, or the NFL, that number just goes up. ESPN's Adam Schefter did say that the Seahawks are expected to set a new record for the price of a sports franchise. The current record right now for the NFL is the Washington Commanders. They were sold back in 2024 for a record $6.05 billion. That is back when the Commanders did not have a finalized stadium. That is back when the Commanders did not have any stars. That is back when the Commanders were the laughingstock of the league. Now imagine what the Seahawks would end up being sold for after all the success that they have had, after the fact that they have a Super Bowl winning head coach and he's not going anywhere anytime soon. They have a team that's not just built to win the last Super Bowl, but to win multiple Super Bowls. And they have a Hall of Fame eventual GM who is going to continue to build this roster. I believe that $7 to $8 billion is a low end for this Seahawks squad. Let me know down below in the comment section, who do you want to be the owner of the Seattle Seahawks next? Fire off any of your takes. Let us know down below in the comment section. We're going to get into all of that on today's show. We are going to get into next what's happening, what are like the rules around the Seahawks next ownership group, because it's not as easy to own a team in the NFL as it would be in the NBA or the MLB. Easy for me to say, easy to own a team. I don't have enough money to own my own house right now. Some other rumors that we're going to dive into as well include who I would love for the Seahawks to eventually be bought by. There are two candidates that I really think could do some good things for the Seahawks. Before we get into that, though, I need to let you know about our good friends over at Marsmen because nobody tells you about this stuff. One day you're absolutely crushing it, and the next you're wondering why everything feels twice as hard. After V-Day, I just couldn't look at myself in the mirror anymore, and I needed to treat it like a reset. I wanted to feel energized again, not worn down. So I'm keeping it simple and doing something natural that supports my body where it needs it. That's why I'm taking Marsmen. It helps your body unlock usable testosterone so you can feel like yourself again. Check out mengotomars.com to get 50% off for life plus free shipping and 3 free gifts. Stronger physical performance in the gym plus recovery? What is not to love? Marsmen supports healthy T levels, energy, and stamina with 8 natural, clinically dosed ingredients, including vitamin D, zinc, and boron. The best part, there's a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Worst case, you don't absolutely love it and you get your money back. But over 91% of users report higher energy levels. Thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. Just check out the reviews on the website to see for yourself. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them Seahawks Today sent you. Shout out to Marsmen, already feeling a little extra juicy, but in the good way. Now, this sale process is going to take some time. What an excellent transition, Will. It is not something that just happens willy-nilly. It's not something that you can just go into the bank and say, hey, I'd like a loan and I'd like to go buy an NFL franchise. That's just not how things work. When we look at the last 2 sales in the National Football League, it took the Commanders almost a year, 8 full months before they ended up finalizing their sale process. While the Denver Broncos, they did go a little bit quicker. They ended up being sold in about 4 months. And you might ask yourself, why does it take so long for these sale processes to go through? And that's because, well, the NFL has some different workings around what it takes to be an NFL owner. This coming to us from The Athletic. The NFL's ownership policy differs from those of other sports leagues, mandating that an individual controlling owner must own at least 30% of the team, and the number of minority investors cannot top 24 people. For family ownership, the individual in control needs only 1%, so long as the family as a whole has 30%. So aside from the Green Bay Packers, because they are grandfathered into this, they have a bunch of different owners, Seattle cannot have the 12s purchase the franchise. That is expected. Now, I do expect a large group to come in and purchase this team. I expect it to be a large group that still fits the NFL parameters, right? It is important to note, too, that very rarely now do you see one individual owner come in and buy an NFL team or an NBA team or an MLB team, for that example. While you might have the figurehead that is at the top of the team's ownership group, it is just so dang expensive nowadays to be able to buy a team. I mean, shoot, Paul Allen bought the Seahawks for right around $200 million when he originally acquired the franchise to keep it in Seattle. Now look at the return of investment over there. I do think it's still fun to kind of dream about some potential owners, though. And so I came prepared with 2 owners that I think would be sweet for the Seahawks, especially if they wanted to come in and buy the team. Both of these owners do have ties to the area, plus they got a little cachet to them. Before we talk about that, we do need to talk about something else that is green, and that is our St. Patrick's Day merch here on Seahawks Today. You can go grab this sweet t-shirt today. if you so choose. You want to make sure that you're wearing green so you don't get pinched on St. Patty's Day. We all love to be a part of the responsible Seattle drinking team, showing everyone what kind of fun we have in the PNW. Only $29.99 for this sweet t-shirt. I think the thing is freaking fresh, and you're going to want to make sure that you get yourself one today. We're going to have the link in the comment section and description of today's video, so make sure that you don't miss out on grabbing yourself one. My first dream owner for the Seattle Seahawks is the great and clearly well-haired man, Jeff Bezos. We both go to the same barber, but also I think that Bezos would be an interesting guy to come in and be the next owner of the Seattle Seahawks. He clearly has some interest in the team, and he has some ties to the area. I believe that Bezos would be a fun owner because I think that he would really let the football general managers, front office, staff, coaches kind of come in and just do what they're supposed to do, and that's run a successful business because, well, the Amazon founder clearly knows how to run a good business. This comes to us from Sports Illustrated, Connor Benintendi, on Bezos and why he could be an interesting candidate to own the Seattle Seahawks. Bezos wasn't born and raised in Washington State, nor has he primarily lived in the area for a few years. However, it's important to note Amazon's corporate headquarters is still in Seattle, and he has plenty of money to potentially throw at a purchase of the team. There's been a speculation in the past about whether Bezos would inquire about buying the Seahawks, and now might be that time. He's already dabbled in the sports realm with broadcasting rights to NFL games, which shows he at least wants a slice of the pie. This would be awesome. The Seahawks would have someone who has ties to the area because of where Amazon is located. But more importantly, they would have an owner that was, well, frankly, the richest in the National Football League. He's the fourth richest man in the world right now. I think that Bezos would do an excellent job of letting the football guys be football guys. But more importantly, I do think that the Seahawks would have money to spend. And I don't think that Bezos would be afraid of spending money to make sure that the Seahawks were successful on the field. He is someone that is clearly competitive, and I do think that the Seahawks would get a similar competitive nature from him. Plus, the most important thing, Seahawks fans don't have to worry about them leaving Seattle. The next person that I want to talk about might be my top candidate. It's the guy I want the most. One, because he's absolutely freaking hilarious. Two, because, well, we have the same haircut. But three, and most important, I do think he is a fantastic owner. Steve Ballmer could come in and be the Seattle Seahawks' next owner. We've seen what he is as an owner when we look at the NBA and the Clippers franchise because Ballmer has done a fantastic job at making the Clippers relevant. Think about the Clippers. Before basically he came in and took over, you have the Lob City run with Blake Griffin and Chris Paul. That's it. Ballmer, he's kept them as one of the top teams in the NBA for quite some time. We're going back to my guy Connor Benintendi from Sports Illustrated on why Ballmer could be the next owner of the Seattle Seahawks. Ballmer makes almost too much sense. He's already the owner of the NBA's Los Angeles Clippers, purchasing the franchise for a then record $2 billion back in 2014. He's the former CEO of Microsoft and now has a chance to get a team in his home state, local ties. When asked in 2024 about his interest in potentially purchasing the Seahawks, Ballmer said it wasn't in the cards. So unless something has changed, it might not come together, but the team was never formally for sale back then, so that might be the nudge that he needs. You're telling me that a man who has ties to Seattle, it would be him kind of taking on as a successor for Paul Allen, a guy that he has business ties to, would not want to come in and own the Seattle Seahawks? We already have pictures of him in Seahawks gear. We don't even have to go to Grok and say, Grok, put Steve Ballmer in Seahawks gear. I put a tweet out today where I have a picture of Steve Ballmer saying he is my top choice to be the Seattle Seahawks next owner. I didn't have to Grok it. I didn't have to ask ChatGPT. I didn't have to go to AI. I had it. I searched up Steve Ballmer, Seattle Seahawks. There were already photos out there of him. You cannot tell me that this man would not have interest. And if he has any interest in purchasing the Seattle Seahawks should be sold to him immediately. He would keep the team in Seattle. He clearly cares about winning. See all the improvements that the Clippers have made. See the improvements to the facilities that have been made for the Los Angeles Clippers. They're becoming their own version of the team of LA. Look, I know the Lakers are always going to be the big favorite of everyone down there, but there are kids that are growing up that genuinely are fans of the Los Angeles Clippers. And that would not be possible without Steve Ballmer being that owner. You want to keep this team on track? You want to keep seeing the Seattle Seahawks moving forward as one of the top franchises, potentially the top franchise in the NFL throughout the 2020s? Yeah, I think it's Steve Ballmer. I think if Steve Ballmer wanted to come in and purchase the Seattle Seahawks, that would be a home run purchasing. We know he wouldn't move the Seahawks, but more importantly, we know that he would spend the money to make sure that the Seahawks team was one of the best in the National Football League, and he'd let the football people be football people and control how this team is run. Are you nervous about the sale for the Seattle Seahawks? Yes or no? Make sure that you let me know your opinion down below in the comment section. We are always excited to hear from y'all. Make sure that you give me a follow on social media as well at Will Ortner. Super easy on Twitter and on Instagram to find me and to follow me because, well, it's the same at. Super easy to find. I got extra content around the Seattle Seahawks that you don't want to miss out on, so make sure that you hit that follow button over there. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video, and I can't wait to see you next time.